everybody. Welcome back once again to the RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast number 85. This is your host, Mitch.
And this is Mike.
And here we are once again. This week, we have, I guess, a ton of news. Before we were talking about the game notes or the episode notes and stuff, Mike sent me over like this huge list of stuff that's like, I guess, happening in gaming this week. So, anyway, we got a lot to talk about this week. So, Mike, what's up?
Man, been a busy week. But yeah, not a ton. Yeah, we got a lot of small little news bites this week. I've got a GameStop story to tell, and then I'm sure you got a couple updates too. So
let's start there.
GameStop or updates?
Let's start with some updates, then I want to hear this GameStop.
All right, go ahead.
So anyway, last week we were talking about my roller coaster tycoon that I had ordered from this place, littleshopofgames.com, which is basically a place in Orlando. And last Sunday I was like, well, crap, it actually arrived in Atlanta on, I guess, Friday night or Saturday morning. And unfortunately, the shipping company was closed over the weekend. So I wasn't able to pick it up until Monday. So all weekend, I'm crossing my fingers like, oh man, I hope it does not turn out to rain on Monday, because I've been waiting all freaking weekend for this and I really just want to get it. So anyway, Monday came along and of course sunny skies and all that stuff. We went and picked it up, and the cool thing was, and I was totally hoping in my heart of hearts that they totally made a mistake, but they shipped it in a Ghostbusters LE box, which the LE, the limited edition, is like the big kahuna of the Ghostbusters. So it's in this perfect Ghostbusters LE box, and I'm like, please have made a mistake and accidentally sent me a Ghostbusters LE, because you're not ever getting that back.
That would have been the greatest thing ever.
It literally would have. I would have like upgraded my my pin by about $5,000. So, I like Roller Coaster Tycoon and all that, but I also would rather have a Ghostbusters LE, truth be told. So anyway, we got it. It was packaged super nicely, and it turns out, of course, it was a Roller Coaster Tycoon. Set everything up, got to play some games on it. Took me a second to kind of, to kind of get back in. It'd been a couple of years, or been a year at least, since I'd played it, and I had my buddy Matt over to play it, and man, I'm telling you, that isn't one underrated game. It is a freaking blast. I can't stop playing it. It's like I've got my, I've got plenty of other pinballs to be playing right now, but I can't play any of them right now because I just want to play that. It's awesome. It's that good. And the thing is, too, yeah, it's kind of a G-rated, theme, Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff. And yeah, there's a stupid troll. But mine is the least stupid of all of them. It has black hair and like a cape or something like that. And it's still stupid, but it is almost like that. Having the black hair, it's almost unnoticeable. Like it's not a sore thumb like the other ones would be. And I, truth be told, I don't even notice it. You get a couple games in and you're like, whatever, I don't care. Nice game. Fun. It is super fun. How can you go wrong with a game with 4 ramps in it? And 3 of them are like basically like roller coaster rails. There's this one shot that is like a yellow ramp. It's huge. It totally gives you the feel of a roller coaster. It's like one of the most satisfying shots of any pinball I played recently. So I love the game. Screw anybody that doesn't like it, man, because they're just not giving it a chance. It's fun. Yeah, it's got some annoying sounds and stuff like that, but whatever. Besides that, it is a blast to play. So I got that. The only disappointment with it, I noticed this right away. The DMD is dying. It is not doing very well. I'm a little miffed at that, because if I'm going to spend like $2,500, I don't want it. Like I said last time, I don't want to have to fix anything, or I don't want to have to do that. And so I got in contact with the guy, and there's like, send it back and I'll test it and verify, and then I'll send you a new one. Yeah, okay, well that kind of sucks, because now I'm going to be without a DMD for like a week, Yeah. But it would be nice to have one. They're a parts dealer as well, so they can just send me a new one. But I'm kind of like, come on, really? really wish you would have tested this thoroughly before you sent it to me.
And it would have, I mean, really, it would have been nice if they could have sent it out, and then, like most places, you send yours back in the box that you received the new one in, you know?
Exactly. I'm not a complete dummy. You know, I know what's wrong with it. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So that kind of stinks. I'm a little. Truth be told, I'm a little pissed about that. Again, you know, I spend that kind of money. I want something that works 100%. You know, that is the deal. That was the agreement that we had before I bought the thing. And shit happens. I get that, but like, still, come on, really. So anyway, I'm still going to have a blast playing it without a DMD, so I just won't be able to see my shitty score. So I guess that is, you know, so that's a thing. So anyway, besides that, I have a stack of cash again, and I am still waiting on either of the dealers that I know in town to get a Ghostbusters Pro in stock. Apparently they're selling like crazy at this point, and Stern can't keep up with the demand. So, you know, as soon as one comes in, maybe in the next week or so, I will have a Ghostbusters Pro. You know, whoever gets it in first, I was just like, let me know, and I'll come and pick it up. And then I will have a brand new in box Stern Ghostbusters. And by God, I am going to kill somebody if the damn thing doesn't work or if there's something wrong with it. I just want something that I don't have to mess with, you know, at some point, especially if I'm spending that kind of cash. By God, I'm going to be pissed if something doesn't work on it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So anyway, you know, again, you know, I guess you could throw in the first world problems thing right there. You know, I have these expensive ass pinball machines, and you know, one little thing doesn't work, or you know, whatever. But still, you know what I'm saying. So, anyways, that's my update as far as that goes. I'm super excited for the Ghostbusters now, but even with the DMD, like what happens on the dot matrix display on it is like if there's a lot. I mean, it when Matt and I were trying it out, we played it for maybe an hour or so. We didn't even notice at that point. I kind of noticed at the first, and I was kind of squinting. He's like, "No, dude, it looks fine," and I was like, "I don't know." But you know, we just didn't notice. If there's a lot on the screen, then some stuff is faded or it won't show up. It's not that noticeable, but it is super annoying to me, at least, because it's supposed to work. And it is classic symptoms of outgassing with the DMD, which means it is toast. I think it's just, I mean, it's a plasma screen dot matrix display, and it is, I don't know if leaking gas or if it's just toast at this point. There's nothing you can do about it if it's toast except for replace it. So anyway, that again, first world problems. It's really not that big of a deal. But I love the game, and in fact, anybody out there that craps on the game, I would love to hear like an actual reason why. I mean, I get a couple things, but you know, a couple things like the troll, you don't even notice it after like a couple games played. You know, I'd seen some reviews. One of the reviews was like, you know, you add up all these guests or whatever, you try to collect like 200 guests or whatever, or 50 guests or something. They're like, it makes no sense. It's like, you know, this is one of the people that rated it like a 2. They're like, it has absolutely no bearing on the game. I'm like, oh my God, the entire game is based on that. So I think a lot of the hate on it is just people that gave it a glance and said, that looks dumb. I'm gonna be an asshole and rate it a 2. But again, that's fine for me. Then it's a $2,500 game as opposed to a $5,000 game. So it's fun. I mean, it's a blast. I own some pretty damn highly rated pinballs over the years, and this for me right now is my favorite one. So take it for what it is. I very enthusiastically approve. 2 thumbs up, and it's awesome. So anyway, Mike, what about you?
Right on. Yeah. So GameStop. So if you've listened to the podcast in the past, I actually have been pretty reasonable as far as GameStop. I know people hate GameStop, but I put it a few notches above Guitar Center and Best Buy. And so yesterday, I had a little buzz, and so I was telling Carrie, I was like, hey, we should run out. I got a game I want to pick up. And so I've been kind of buying some backlog Xbox 360 games. And
Okay.
I wanted to pick up a game called Lost Odyssey. And I checked the store, and there was supposed to be one in stock at a location up the street from me. I'm not going to call out the locations, I don't think, but and I get in there, and there's this manager that works there, and he's actually super creepy.
Okay.
Just a little off. And so I walk in, I go right to the 360 stuff, and he's like, is there any game you're looking for? I was like, no, because I just want to be left alone. And he's kind of like, well, you're pretty laser focused. And I was like, yeah, just trying to fill out some back catalog stuff that I want to get on 360. He's like, you want a recommendation? Diablo 3. I'm like, nah, whatever. I like Diablo 3. I played it. It's all good. And he finally left me alone. So anyway, the same manager, I didn't find what I was looking for. I bought a couple Vita games. I'm up at the checkout, and he's trying to pitch their extended warranty to this guy and his two kids. Mm-hmm. And he says, hey, do you want to add the extended warranty? It's $2, $3, or $4, depending on the game disc, right? And this is all bullshit. We know the extended warranties are dumb because essentially, of course, they want you to get extended warranty because it makes a whole ton of sense for them because they get all of their average cost per game that they bring in is probably literally like $8.
Yeah, probably.
So
I mean, extended warranty on almost anything is like, you got to be a total dumbass.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes, here's the deal. You could take it home. They had accidental. And I'm telling you personally, you could go home, run this game through a paper shredder, bring it back in, and I'll replace it. And he goes, the guy's like, why would I do that? And he's like, I don't know, but someone actually did it and I replaced it. And the guy was like, and his kids were a little bit older. And so this guy's just he starts responding like I would respond. He goes, why the fuck why would they do that? And he goes, furthermore, now you're going to start replacing stuff that people are just doing, breaking intentionally. And then now the next time I come in, the price of the warranty is going to be higher. He goes, that's just dumb bullshit. Why would you tell customers that? And so really. I have to chime in because I'm, me. And I'm like, I got to be honest with you, dude. I don't know where you're getting your direction, but if I was in upper management and came in and heard you pitching an extended warranty like that, I would fire you on the spot. And this the girl checking me out kind of laughs. And he's like, I totally get it. GameStop managers actually tell us to pitch it this way. And I'm like, no, they don't. Do they? He's like, yeah. He's like, and he kind of reiterated what I said. I'm like, I don't know if I believe it or not. So that's where that starts. So I was like, okay, this guy's fuck GameStop at this point. So I didn't get the Lost Odyssey that I was looking for because it actually wasn't in stock at that location. They couldn't find it. So I go up the road to another GameStop and I get into that one. And there's two little, whatever, high school kids working or, just out of high school kids working. And this one pissed me off to the point that I got a little bit heated. So I find Lost Odyssey. It has their BS case that does not have the original artwork and manual and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I say, hey, any chance you guys got this with the original artwork and stuff like that? And he says, no, what's on the shelf's on the shelf. And so I said to him, that's not going to work for me. I'm kind of just adding back catalog stuff and I kind of want it complete. And the kid looks at me and I don't think I took this wrong, especially with what came next. He goes, oh, so you're just a collector. You don't actually play games.
Oh, my God. He said it like that?
He said it just like that. And I went, what? I said, no. You got it all fucking wrong. Because like I said, I'm a little buzzed up here. I go, if I come to GameStop and you have something for $10 on a back catalog, I want the $10 that's the complete version with the original artwork in the book. Why would I pay you the same $10 for something that's not complete? I go, that's just flat out stupid. That's bullshit. And then, no doubt. And then, so I go, speaking of that, last time that I tried to buy this Vita's Collector's Edition game, I go, you open up the collector stuff. Does everybody do that? It just doesn't make sense to me. I go, here, can you look this up? Do you have this in stock in a wrapped version? If you do, I already bought it, but I'll actually buy it complete. And he goes, no, we don't. Da 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 da. And then he asked me, so if you're playing games, what are you playing? And I'm like, I was just trying to leave. You're really instigating this conversation here.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, it just kind of off the top of my head, because I haven't played a ton in the last week and a half, really. I said, well, I pumped about 400 hours into Destiny. I think that qualifies me as playing games. And he goes, oh, the Destiny bug. And then he says, you should.
What is he trying to start a fight or something?
I don't fucking know. So then I go,
pizza face kid.
Yeah. So I go, no, now there's two of them kind of coming at me. So this other kid goes, you know what? You need to play No Man's Sky. And we talked about this last week, and we might get to it later. And I went, no, I don't. I don't want to play No Man's Sky. And so I don't remember really what kind of came from there, but all of a sudden, I'm in there for a while. We get to PC conversation. And I was like, yeah, I've got two 980 Ti's, blah, 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 blah. And then I switched to a 1080. And the guy goes, why do you need a PC at that high game settings? I say, well, I really don't. But I kind of want to hit 4K on certain games. And this fucking kid looks at me and he goes, the new the current PS4 does 4K upscaling. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And he goes, yeah, it does. He goes, my buddy has a PS4 and an Xbox One, and his PS4 upscales to 4K and the Xbox One doesn't. And I'm like, I have two of each system. No, it doesn't. That's the TV. And he's like, why is the Xbox not upscale? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, it doesn't fucking upscale. I go, that's the bullshit right there where why everybody hates GameStop. Because you can't just Google something and figure out that the place... Are you running around telling people that the PlayStation upscales to 4K? And he's like, it does. I'm like, no, the fuck it doesn't. You're an idiot. And then I walked out. Probably pretty immature for a 34-year-old, but it was like they kept prodding at me.
Yeah. What? That's amazing, dude.
I was like, why are you prodding at me? Like, ever since they kicked off the thing. And I honestly, I started out the car, I was pretty calm for the most part until he got to that. I mean, it wasn't as heated as it actually sounds. It was actually pretty okay because we were kind of jumping topics. But when he started to prod me about the games I played, and then he's like, the Destiny thing, and then he hits me on PC, then we go to No Man's Sky, and then he starts to throw this PS4 upscaling shit at me. I was like, I can't do this, man. What? God. What are you talking about?
There's no way that a PS4 upscales to 4K.
Well, it could. I mean, the latest Xbox One upscales to 4K, but it's just upscaling. It's not like it's natively running it, but it was just like...
Well, that's what I mean.
But it's just like, dude, it came out... Like, no, it doesn't. You're an idiot. So, yeah, long story longer, I went to another store today and found the game I was looking for. Again, for the most part, I actually have pretty good... experiences at GameStop, and yesterday was just crazy, and I don't understand why the kid was like, oh, you're just a collector, you're not gonna play. I'm like, I'm gonna play the fucking game, but I also want it complete. So
no shit.
Why
wouldn't you? Like you said, it's like, I'm the same way. Well, obviously I'm the same way. It's like, if I'm gonna spend $10 on it anyways, I want it complete. Like, why would I spend $10 on just a game?
Right. Actually, the one other kid was actually pretty cool. The one kid had he had something going on that day. I don't know what it was, because he just kept poking and prodding. Oh, actually, speaking of that, so then I told him what the manager at the other store told me about the extended warranty, and they're like, "Yeah, upper management tells us that." And I was like, I'm like, no, they don't. He's like, yeah, they can do.
You should probably just buy a bunch of shit there and then just put it all through a paper. Everything you buy there, you should just put it through a fucking paper shredder. You should buy a paper shredder, first of all. And every time you buy a game, put it through a paper shredder and bring it back and get it replaced. Then next time you go in there and you get a buy two, get one free, paper shred them and then bring them back in and ask them for a replacement.
Also, let me just
troll the shit out of them.
Any GameStop employees that might ever listen to the show, here's a thing. consumers aren't stupid. And so if you try to throw the touchdown pass and say, you could even shred it up and come get a new one, you sound like an ass, A of all. And B of all, no one's ever, unless you're going to troll the company, no one's ever going to run it through a paper shredder just to get a new one, because it's a pain in the ass to come back and get a new one when you had one that was working. And 3, I don't even have 3. I'm just stupid. Just dumb.
Well, I can say this too. On the other side, like, if you're an employee, like not upper management, and upper management is telling you to say this crap and make you look like a jackass as far as that goes, then like, trust me, I've worked in retail. It sucks. It just does. It sucks, period. Across the board. It doesn't matter where you work. It sucks. And upper management sucks. And they are the ones that are making them look like assholes. Period.
No, they certainly are, and I totally agree with that 100%. It's just you wouldn't, like, for whatever they're getting, $12, $15, $12 an hour, whatever GameStop's paying, 10.
Oh no,
I don't care enough.
I don't think retail pays $15.
Okay, an $10 an hour. I don't know. I don't care if you tell me that I should sell the warranty, and if the guy doesn't want it, if management tells me to tell them a story about guys that threw it through paper shredders. You ain't paying. No, I'm not going to tell that story. Sorry.
Like I said, just troll the shit out of them. Every time you buy something, shred it, and then bring it back in pieces and be like, I need this replaced. It fell in my paper shredder. And then every single time you'll be that guy that like costs GameStop so much money that their stupid fucking upper management stops being idiots.
Well, but I'm sure the rare instance where somebody actually does that. I mean, I'm sure still it makes financial sense. Like, I guarantee that doesn't even make a dent in the amount of money they pull from the warranties.
Oh, that's true. Well, I didn't even think of this, that you'd have to buy the extended warranty, unfortunately. So, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's my story. I couldn't believe it. Like, and I swear they were just trolling me on purpose.
Well, you know.
Now I'm on the other side of it.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah,
I think you probably deserve it at some point in your life. So.
I guess so. I guess it's one way to look at it.
Anyway, so we do have plenty to talk about today. Where do you want to start on this stuff?
I think maybe the Nintendo announced that extra new 3DS, and there's a couple caveats to why it's pretty cool.
The new 3DS?
The new 3DS, technically, now.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So Nintendo announced a $149 new 3DS.
Damn it.
The difference being that this one isn't the XL. It's the smaller version, and the smaller versions have replaceable faceplates. And so you could get the smaller version, put all it's whatever. It's, kind of, I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, $150, smaller version, comes with Super Mario 3D World or something pre-installed.
3D Land, yeah.
Pretty late in the 3DS life cycle, and I don't think I'm gonna buy one because I just bought another crazy pair of headphones. But
I just bought a new 3DS, so XL. So there's no way in hell that I'm spending that much money. I mean, I guess I spent. Yeah,
but I just think as far as kind of a collectible, this is where kind of collecting and probably not going to play it does come into play because I already have a 3DS. That is kind of cool to get a late 3DS because some of them later Game Boys and stuff were a little harder to find, the micro Game Boy Advance and stuff like that. And so I was like, it'd kind of be neat to have on the shelf, but knowing 3DS, they'll sell 1 billion of them anyway. So, but it's kind of nice because this is the first new 3DS that's coming to the States that's actually the smaller version. So if there's anyone looking for the smaller version, here's your chance.
Well, and to add on to the 3DS thing as well, I just picked mine back up, and I'm back on the Ocarina of Time after a little break on that. But I saw the new list of selects that's coming out for the 3DS as well, and all of them except for I don't care about any of them except for Luigi's Mansion is actually coming out for Nintendo Select, and that is a hell of a game. That is an awesome game.
Yeah, $20. By the way. Yeah, the only thing, and I know why Nintendo does puts the stupid packaging on them, but because it gives them, like, instead of just dropping it to another price, it gives them the chance to remarket the Nintendo Selects. But yeah, I've always hated, from PlayStation 3 and the greatest hits to all these other, like, it always looks so dumb when they...
Well, they've always done that.
But that's every place. But yeah, yeah, I mean, Luigi's Mansion's probably the only one worth anything on there, but man, if you don't have it, pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing, is I already have the OG version of it or whatever that I spent like $40 on. So, you know, it's all good. But yeah, actually, that was the only one of all the stuff that you sent me today that I could not, for some reason, would not come up, but now it comes up. So, but let me bump it over here. I know we do have a lot of Nintendo stuff to talk, but since you mentioned No Man's Sky just a minute ago when you were talking about GameStop, let's talk about that real quick, because that's something we spent a little bit of time talking about last week. So it's out. And the reviews are in.
And it's not very good.
I think it's overhyped. That's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people feel like bamboozled or whatever because they're expecting like the second coming of like this the greatest game ever, you know. And yeah, apparently it is for a lot of people. It sounds like performance issues are main, you know, one of the main things for like PC users. Like what was it? Arkham City. What was it?
Arkham
that
Knight
came out that Arkham. Yeah, that had come out and it needed to be patched because even on super like beefy PCs or whatever, it still was like laggy as shit. I think that's happening on the PC right now, and I had read a lot of the reviews. They gave it like a 0 to 2, and they're like, "Dude, I have a great PC. I have like a NVIDIA 1080 such and such or whatever, and I have this and I have that, and it's laggy as shit."
Yeah.
From like the intro screen or whatever on up, it just seems apparently like that's a major problem. Some people were saying the controls were wonky. You know, some people were saying it's horrible right now, but maybe they can patch it and fix it in a couple different ways. But I don't know. Apparently it's a hot mess, as they say in Atlanta.
Yeah, and so that's not even really that's not really even the only thing that completely bothers me about it. Just reading a little more, and out of the gate, I was pretty excited just based on the fact that I was like, hey, space exploration, the art looks great. I would love to go do that. You know, and the universe is 18 quintillion planets or something like that. I started watching some of the gameplay on Twitch. And even though the planets are great and it looks like something I do want to get, I don't want to spend $60 on it because being procedurally generated, it's all down to an algorithm. So it's like sometimes it's like, and I get it, and I'll get to a different note. I get why people would like it, but I just don't want to land on a planet. It's empty. Then I fly to a new planet and then I shoot some stuff. Get gold, craft something, go to a new planet on my adventure to the center of the earth. And like I said, I get why people probably like that exploration, and it really feels big and vast and something new. I want to experience that. I just don't want to experience it at $60. And the other thing that's kind of irritating is if you don't like No Man's Sky and you come across somebody that likes it, you get the, oh, you just don't get it. Like,
you're one of those
people that, you just don't get it. It's almost like the new game for hipsters. And I'm like, nah, right. I get it. I totally get it. I get why you might like it. And I really want to experience it, but not at $60.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same spot because I had the same thoughts about it last week as well. Like, wow, this looks great, you know, and especially when it's rated like a 70 on Metacritic right now, and it's rated even lower by the user ratings. I'm not spending $60 on that.
No, and so I had a buddy.
There's no way. You know me. There's no way in hell that I'm spending $60.
So I had a buddy at work that he got his Amazon.
By the way, 4.9 is the user score on that right now.
Yeah, the user score is troll, but yeah, I mean, I can see both sides. It's so I got a buddy at work that actually got his Amazon copy early, and he was like,
Did he stream it?
No, he didn't stream it, but he didn't. He was more pissed that he didn't try to sell it for a markup on eBay.
$1,200.
But he was like, it's really good looking and the style is awesome. And he goes, it just feels empty and I'm just not having fun. And I'm like, well, how long did you play it? He's like, about 5-6 hours. So it's like, okay, I think he gave it the old college try. And
that's significant.
Yeah. And he's like basically kind of what I just said. He goes, for me, he says, I'm just kind of going to the planets. You find materials, you upgrade whatever you can or craft whatever you can from those materials. And it allows you to go to different planets that have better materials and you craft something new and go to, I'm like, I want to see the tech. Again, I'm not spending $60 to see the tech.
Not to mention and trust me, it's just for me personally, this is just a personal preference right here. That's not the kind of game that I'm a big fan of. I don't like that it's such a time suck. I get it. I get the appeal for a lot of people and stuff like that, but I'm like, especially if the reviews are coming in like this and people are just like, I'm just not having fun, and I'm like, I don't like that type of game anyways for the most part. I guess.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I think there's probably games that do it better. This one's gimmick is just that the universe is 9 trillion, quadrillion planets or whatever. And so if people are having fun with it, great. I can kind of understand why being a part of that and being in that world's cool. But I want to play it on PC and I want to wait until the PC issues are fixed and then I'll get it on a Steam sale or something.
Yeah, that was actually my thought too. So we'll check it out eventually, but it's interesting that it really so far. I mean, the opening week or whatever, it's just kind of seems like a bomb. I don't know.
Yeah,
there seems like there's some stuff that they need to fix for the PC version at least. So
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it looked really cool, and I maybe other patches will add more stuff. Apparently, they're supposed to be adding like base stations and other cool stuff, and so we'll see how it looks. 3 months from now, and if the price, even if it gets down to like $29.99, I'll probably jump. But
I'd probably do that.
It doesn't feel like a $60 game from everything I've read. Again, haven't played it, so is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, for sure. Well, it'll be interesting. With developments from that. I mean, it was interesting last week, especially when they had a cow and that dude streamed it. But that whole story was interesting. But I don't know. The whole story seems compelling enough, at least. So we'll keep an eye on it and we'll keep everybody updated. But why don't we bounce it back to NES stuff as well?
Sure.
So one of the other things was the mini NES. I guess there's some more features that are being released about that. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that?
Sure. So the primary features that they're now talking about is they are going to have different display modes. So you're going to get the emulated CRT, which is super cool.
Right.
You're going to get, I think, widescreen mode, like the general standard widescreen mode, probably. And then you're also going to get pixel perfect mode, they're calling it. And this one is interesting to me because I remember listening to an episode of Retronauts where they were talking about how in development, they developed games not at 4x3. They developed them in perfect squares. Mm-hmm. And then once you publish the game, the televisions would render the picture and broadcast the light across the 4x3 picture. And so developers had to keep in mind as they were developing characters that they would be slightly stretched wider for a 4x3 television. So this option will actually get you to see the true way that these games were developed, because with LCD TVs now and having square pixels, they can render the square version of the game if you so choose. So I don't know if I'd ever play it that way, but that's a cool little nugget that they're throwing in there. I think that makes the system a little bit more compelling. Even like I was buying one anyway, but just to be able to say like, oh, cool, I get a couple display modes. That's kind of neat. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, that was the only one that I read, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure Mike does. So we'll talk about it on the podcast. But yeah, I mean, $60 is the price point for this, right?
Yeah, so $60. There was a couple pre-orders. You can't pre-order right now. And And so I have a feeling that Nintendo's not going to F this one up. I hope I hope they stock them.
Nothing to screw up. It's our. Oh, you mean about the distribution?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm in. Why? This is $60 that I feel comfortable spending. You know, it's all about priorities. It's all about priorities as far as that goes. And you know, like $60. You know, look, I'm spending like $7,500 on pinball machines, so it's not like whatever. But it's we talked about this the last couple of weeks too. Sometimes it's like $60. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. This will do it for.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, I guess I know I have physical copies of all of these games that are going to be on it, but so what? I don't know. It's cool, and then I can, you know, I don't know. It just it seems cooler and cooler the more information we get about it.
Yeah.
So
did you take a look at the games list?
I didn't. Where is the games list?
I can email it to you, or I'll just read it since we haven't talked about it on the podcast yet.
Do it. Absolutely.
So, I'll just start and then jump in if you have anything you want to say about it. Balloon Fight.
Love it.
Bubble Bobble.
Love it.
Yep. Castlevania 1, Castlevania 2.
Don't know about Castlevania 2, but I love Castlevania 1.
Yeah, I'm with you. Donkey Kong Jr. You might as well. Why not?
Yeah, whatever.
Double Dragon 2. I don't know where Double Dragon 1 went. Maybe some licensing there.
No, it sucks.
Well, we've talked in length about our disdain for Double Dragon going back to
somebody, at least one person out there wants to kick me in the nuts for saying that, but it does. It really does.
Yeah. Dr. Mario, which
great.
I love Dr. I love Dr. Mario.
Everybody loves Dr. Mario. Everybody's wife loves Dr. Mario.
That's what I was just going to say. Carrie and I would play the shit out of Dr. Mario every now and then.
Yep, it's a great one to play with your significant other, for sure.
Excite Bike has to be there.
Of course.
Not super fun anymore, but has to be there.
It is super fun. Actually, I was playing that not a couple weeks ago. The game is still a blast. It really is a blast.
Maybe you have to give it another go. Last time I popped it in, I was like,
Oh man, you just got to give it a couple plays, and that game. And then
you're back hooked in. All right, I'll give it another go this week sometime. Final Fantasy,
sure.
Galaga, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber.
Man, Gradius. By the way, do you own Gradius?
It's been a while since I've got like 80 NES games. It might be in there. I don't know.
You have to get it. Gradius is fantastic. It's one of my favorite games on the system, to be honest.
Really?
And that's something we've never talked about before. But I have it on Nintendo, my Red 10 as well. It is so awesome. It's the best game that I have on Red 10. I have almost all of them.
I'll make a point of picking it up because I also realized I don't have Final Fantasy either, and I want to get that on cart. So.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's gone up in price exponentially too. Gradius is still cheap as hell.
Well, Final Fantasy I found for like $30 somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, yep. Nothing. I mean, not 10, but not 150 like some of the Master System games are now. Ice Climber, take it or leave it.
Ice Climber's
great.
Well,
so I like Ice Climbers too. A lot of people hate Ice Climber, and I don't understand why. I think it's a blast.
I'd like to kick them in the nuts. That's a fun game.
Yeah,
it really is.
Kid Icarus, take it or leave it. It's a Nintendo game. It's cool. Kirby's Adventure, nice. I'm glad that's in there. Mario Brothers 1, not Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers, the Mario Brothers arcade Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It is great. Mega Man 2.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
I guess
one.
if you had to pick a Mega Man game, they weren't going to put all of them on there. 2's probably...
I would have picked 5, probably.
Okay,
that's the best one.
Metroid, of course. Ninja Gaiden. Pac-Man. Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream. For obvious reasons, they probably couldn't license Mike Tyson this far out.
Well, and that's why they released one with Mr. Dream anyways in the first place for the NES.
Because Mike Tyson be raping everybody around here.
No, well, that wasn't it. The license actually ran out, and they just decided to throw Mr. Dream in there instead.
Oh, it didn't have to do with Mike Tyson's
Rape Fest?
No, I thought it did. Oh, okay. Star Tropics,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Super C. So they got Super C on here, but
Super Contra.
They didn't get Contra, so I don't know how they didn't get
Super C is impossible, dude. I can't get past the first level.
Yeah, it's tough.
Fucking impossible.
That's another one that I could have bought for like $12 at a flea market like a summer ago, or 2 summers ago, and I'm like, hey, it's now $50. Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. So of course those are there.
Yeah.
Tecmo Bowl. Why not?
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson dunking a stick.
Speaking of that, man, I still can't believe they said that. All right, so if anyone hasn't watched the Bo Jackson for 30 for 30,
it's awesome.
The unintentional comedy is freaking hilarious. Go watch it, because there's a point where I don't know if it's like his high school coach. He goes, so I see Bo Jackson. He's on the basketball court, and he's like, hey, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, everyone get off the court. And he grabbed a stick off the ground, and he dunked a stick. I never seen anybody do that before. I'm like, well, of course you didn't. Why would anyone dunk a stick?
I think that story is probably a culmination of like all the things that we made up about it.
Probably.
I think, yeah, but it's hilarious anyway.
I don't think that was a story actually in there, but
I think we made that one up.
In fairness of backstory, here's the thing. Mitch and I watched it, and then of all the Bo Jackson stories, because it's always focused on a story. Like, he's always like, it's always like, I saw Bo Jackson do this. I never seen anybody do it that good. Right? And so we started just making shit up. That was like, I saw Bo Jackson cross the road, but I didn't see him. I never seen somebody that I didn't see cross the road before.
It'd be like, or like Bo Jackson backed a car into a tree, and like the tree like ran away or something. I ain't never seen anybody do that before.
Yeah, it's funny
crap like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Funny stuff. It's like the stuff that Chuck Norris meme stuff is made of.
That's exactly what it is. But anyway, Bo Jackson. I'm pretty sure you can dunk a stick in Tecmo Bowl.
You could. Yeah. Oh, by the way, another Tecmo Bowl story. In Wisconsin, there's an annual Tecmo Bowl tournament.
Well, something cool came out of Wisconsin then.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. YouTube that.
Dude, I mean, who gets to pick the Raiders? I mean, that's not fair.
Yeah, Wisconsin actually has the Midwest Classic Gaming Expo too, and I never go to it.
I know, that's pretty cool too. But I'm saying in this tournament, like, it's not fair if you pick the Raiders.
Excuse me. There's one other team. There's one other dude that was in the game that was really, really good. Not Bo Jackson good, but in one of these videos on YouTube, he's playing himself, and you guys have to go watch it. I forgot his name.
They said it ain't never been done before.
He didn't dunk a stick, I'll tell you that. And then The Legend of Zelda, and then Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. So,
of course. So they didn't skimp, man. This is gold.
No, that's worth
like every
60,
single game
worth $60.
$60.
Easily worth $60.
There's like one game. There was 1 or 2 games on there that I was like, whatever. But like start to finish, for the most part, those are like amazing titles. So I don't know. I'm in. Yeah. I gotta buy it at that. I mean, those are all the games I play.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's a,
except for RBI baseball, obviously.
That'd be nice if that was on there. But yeah, you got a good mix of arcade. You got a good mix of co-op. You know, you mix in your Marios, your Nintendo stuff. You got your Punch Out. You throw in Tecmo Bowl. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong.
Bubble Bobble and Balloon Fight. I mean, I do own every single game that's on that system, but I'm still gonna buy it.
This is one of those where I think it makes for a cool conversation piece as well. Just like, I'll have it hooked up all the time to my TV.
I'm gonna play it too. You know?
Yeah.
That just means that I don't have to blow on the stupid cartridge every time that I want to play the game, or like, click the thing up and down or whatever constantly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there it is. Yeah, super cool. So coming soon to a living room near you. I'm sure Bo Jackson already has one.
And probably that ain't never been done before. They said, at least. So I don't know. So anyway, speaking of coming to a living room near you, the other thing that you had sent along to me, that news that came out this week from Nintendo, was the NX controller patents that had come out as well.
How do you feel about that?
Infrared, I think, is what they said, right?
They're going to be infrared, and they snap on. And so I thought they were more going to plug in or be part of the controller where they slide in and out, like maybe PlayStation Go style, PSP Go style, and then detach somehow. Something neater than... And again, this could be it's just a patent. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what it is. This could be something completely different. Mm-hmm. But there was a couple controllers that snap onto something. So this could either be how the Nintendo NX controller is going to be used, or B, a couple small snap-on things that they're infrared. I was just about to say they could be small snap-on things that you could snap onto your phone, but no phones have infrared anymore. So
that's such a weird, choice, infrared. It's like I had my up until a year ago, just for my arcade hauler, I had a 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and the key fob for that was infrared. That's what that makes me think of. I'm like, really? Is that is that still a thing?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a cheap way. I don't know, man. So I don't know what this is. Hopefully it's nothing. Because the Nintendo NX...
It could be nothing.
It could be nothing. Because the thought of Nintendo... Look, maybe they're releasing two things. I don't know. But the thought of Nintendo coming out and saying, hey, here's our handheld. It plays awesome games on the go, and you can dock it to your TV, and it looks great. I'm like, yep, give me that. Yep. Then developers only need to make a game for one Nintendo platform, and the handheld market has had no problem with third-party support as far as 3DS goes. So you get those same publishers and developers on board for the Nintendo NX. I'm in, and I don't need Call of Duty and Madden. I need Nintendo games and cool experiences that you only find on Nintendo handhelds like the 3DS. And if I can plug those into my TV, even better.
Well, yeah, not to mention, too, one of the patents that came out that was in that article, too, was about the AR function. I guess the camera is supposedly able to do, augmented reality or something. I'm interested to see, what clever ways that I don't know. I mean, for the most part, you got to admit, Nintendo, generally, they do it right, there are not too many gimmicks that Nintendo's come out with that they haven't done right. Look at Virtual Boy, and I guess the argument could be made there. But I trust them. I trust them at this point. Nintendo's come through, even if advertising wise, like the Wii U, it wasn't a hit because they screwed a lot of that stuff up. But if there's some kind of AR functionality to it, if you can somehow that is integrated by being able to plug it into your TV and then also having a secondary experience with that. I don't know, maybe I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's funny because
you could do AR stuff with the 3DS, but
yeah, it's funny because
also the PS Vita. So
yeah, they all did it. Yeah, and your phones and a lot of other stuff does AR stuff now too. But so the funny part is everyone now that the Wii U has failed goes back and looks at. Relatively speaking, goes back and looks at all the other Nintendo stuff in the past and says Nintendo's always about the gimmicks, and it's like I don't think they were up until the Wii, really, because Nintendo 64, sure, the controller looked ridiculous.
It's a cartridge, and you never else was CD.
Well, that's a little weird, but you never used you never used the D-pad really on Nintendo on the Nintendo 64, but let's not forget that gimmick of a analog stick. That was the first analog stick we saw on consoles.
It was revolutionary.
And it changed gaming, right? Then you fast forward to GameCube after that. That GameCube controller, again, looks wonky, is hailed as one of the best controllers that they've ever had. Now, again, they used the stupid small CDs. Probably not a great move storage-wise, but they did go to CDs.
I felt like my games never suffered. I mean, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, the Mario Kart on there was great. A lot of games. There were so many good games for the GameCube. I don't know. It didn't suffer from the smaller media.
I love the GameCube, and I'll take
It's
it. I'll
such
take
a
it. I'll
good
take it.
system.
I'll take a GameCube 10 out of 10 times over the Dreamcast.
Yeah, me too. No doubt. I mean, there's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and then they had the Wii, which it was a gimmick, but I tell you, what, it worked. Everybody had a Wii.
And especially like it wasn't just kids like us at the time. Like it was like everybody that I know's parents had a Wii as well. Like it crossed generations as far as the functionality and stuff, because they had like Wii Fit and all this stuff, and like the motion controllers and the motion controls and all that stuff made a difference with with several different generations, not just ours.
Yeah, and then they move on to the Wii U, and I think a lot of that problem was the marketing.
Yeah,
and
it's an awesome system.
I like I said, I'm collecting all the Nintendo published games, and I will play them. Unlike what some jackass at GameStop tried to pin me into a corner. And yes, it's first world problems. Like I still don't get it. He said it just like I said. I
should have recorded this conversation.
I didn't.
We would have put it on the podcast.
Oh, I should have. I didn't think he was actually. I didn't know if he was actually trolling me until they both he really started to poke me in other things. And I was like, "You're an asshole." Anyway.
Yeah, he seriously is. Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I don't know, man. So Nintendo, excited.
Nintendo. Yeah, there's plenty of Nintendo news. I mean, Nintendo never fails to keep themselves never fails to be in the spotlight,
Yeah.
But I guess I'm kind of jumping around here, but I don't know, or jump in if there's something you want to add that I'm not getting to or something like this. But when you had sent me this, you were like, not sure we hit on this from the last couple episodes or something like that. But we had kind of briefly talked about it, but I'm glad you sent this to me, because I was finally able to watch Ben Heck Part 2 when he was taking apart the Super NES CD or the Nintendo PlayStation.
Yep.
The Nintendo PlayStation. So he actually put it back together this week, because there were some issues with it. I guess the guy, I'm sorry, it wasn't this week, but it was several weeks ago. But the guy that owned it, the guy's son that owned it, had said, yeah, we can play games in it, but there's no sound and the CD functionality is completely not there. So I guess Ben Heck had gone through and God, I love his videos because he's so detailed on he looks up every single info sheet on every single chip, and was just comparing a lot of stuff. He redid all the jumper cables that they had done on there. Basically, it looked he'd pointed out that it had kind of looked sloppy, oh, we forgot to make this connection, so we just physically
did a jumper here, added this here, yeah.
Right, and generally, before production, they would just redo the
right. They didn't tape wires down, stuff like that.
No, that's not common. So he did a better job of it, just in case somebody rips it apart in the future, so that it doesn't lose a connection to whatever. And he just kind of cleaned everything up as far as that goes. There was a theory too by the younger guy that owns it that maybe the guy that had received this, maybe they basically sabotage it so that the CD functionality wouldn't work. He used the example, if you're going to put a tank in a park, you need to disable the gun or whatever.
Right.
So basically that was a theory, but I think he disproved that one. He had kind of figured out what the problem, what a couple problems were. And I guess the main thing with it, there was just a few leaky capacitors that he had found, and he just replaced them. And just like the Game Gear, that's why your Game Gear doesn't work. If your Game Gear doesn't work, it's that freaking capacitors are especially on anything from that era, are not good. So that's essentially all. That's essentially what he had done. And besides cleaning it up, and audio worked on the SNES part of it, and the CD drive tested okay. And, he's able to open it and close it, and it was, trying to read data and stuff. And he'd try to put an audio CD in there, but I guess it couldn't read that. But, he'd come up with a problem that, he doesn't know if anybody ever developed anything for the CD version of that. So you never know. He was kind of leaving it out there for, developers that may be able to develop it for the system, or possibly, if there was a proto game in there or something. The older guy that had found it originally said, "Oh, I think in one of those boxes there might have been a game or something." So it was pretty interesting. Another thing he did was he just cleaned the pins on the RAM cart. I guess the cart that actually goes in there to, I guess extended RAM for CD functionality. So it was pretty interesting and success. I think it works. I mean, you can't really tell because you don't really have anything to play in there, but the actual CD will eject a disc, it will accept a disc, and it actually tries to read it and stuff, and it tests okay in the system. But they may have. I think they did. If I remember right, I think he had said on one part that they actually did disable it at one point because probably there's nothing available. I mean, there's not, or maybe not. I don't know. But anyways, it was interesting. I think it all came down to, in short, to a couple leaky capacitors, and it's the same little electrolytic capacitors that you'd find in like your Game Gear, and you just replaced 2 or 3 of them, and
got it working.
Fired right up. So then also, like I said, the sound worked as well, which totally makes sense. So and he puts a note in there as well, and he's totally right. All your old electronics that aren't functioning properly, there's probably an electrolytic capacitor in there that needs to be replaced, and it will probably fix it. And as long as there is not like battery acid or some crap all over the the PCB or whatever, he's probably totally right on that. So I thought that was really interesting. I'm glad you sent that to me because I keep forgetting to actually watch it. But that whole part 1 and part 2 of the Nintendo PlayStation was fascinating.
Yeah, I thought, it was just great. I keep checking back because I want to see more, like, oh, what else could he try to do with this thing? But now that it's technically working, I don't know if there's a lot to do.
I think it's gone. I think the dude has it back at this point. So unless they can find some kind of software for it, I don't know. I guess that's it. That's all she wrote on that sucker. So I mean, it's well, they did. I thought this was cool. Like at the end of it, they played a game of Super Street Fighter 2 on, they said, the rarest console ever, which it was, and that was pretty funny. That would have been pretty amazing to play Ben Heck on the Nintendo PlayStation. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't believe, though, he was always Guile, and Guile was like the suckiest player on that game. So I don't know. Just a side note there to critique Ben Heck. But
yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Cool, super cool. So anything you want to touch on, Mike, that we haven't covered yet?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I have much left. Couple notes on YouTube. A couple people tried to troll me. It's funny, on one of the videos of the I just want to do a clarification if anyone cares. On the Sennheiser versus Astro video, it's the only audio video I have that has 1 billion dislikes, and I think it's because A, I shit on Sennheiser, and B, there's a bunch of fanboys out there, and I was like, I love Sennheiser. I literally, come next week, am going to have like $2,500 in Sennheiser headphones in my house. Like, I love Sennheiser. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Audio is one of my favorite hobbies. What I was trying to say is, as far as virtual surround sound offerings go, the Sennheiser missed the mark, and that's why they barely make or sell those headsets, because their virtual surround sound is crap, and I will double down on that. So if you're looking for virtual surround sound, the Astro A50 is still the way to go, despite all of the negative thumbs down on that video. And secondly, I love the enthusiasm on all of the other YouTube videos, but I try to get back to everybody. But unfortunately, if you ask a question that's probably pretty easy to just Google, probably not going to answer it. Just as an FYI, like someone asked, like, how long is the Ubuntu racing seat? I'm like, I'm not going to go measure it, man, and I'm not going to Google it for you. I'm sorry. But yeah, had a lot of good youtube.com/RetroGameFix, some fun stuff going on there.
Oh yeah, I haven't checked out the channel in in a hot minute. I'm going to use that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm checking it out right now, actually. So awesome, cool.
Yeah,
Well, always lots of good stuff on there.
I think we hit 40,000 views on all the videos so
Yeah.
far. So that's cool. And now that I don't have school for 6 more weeks, I will start to get some more videos up there as well. So
Damn, how do you not have school for the next 6 weeks?
so I was supposed to start the last half of my because I finished my associate's degree, and yes, I'm 34. I went back to school because I never got my degree. So I finished my associate's degree, and I was going to move on to start finishing the bachelor's. But since I took 2 classes last time and was so busy and new baby and everything else, I decided to start the second half October 3rd instead of August 17th or something like that.
That's probably a smart move.
Do the dad thing for a while. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, for anyone that cares, if you haven't went and got your college degree, online makes it super easy, especially if you're, far into your career and you're kind of just checking that resume box. I'm actually able to test out. I was able to test out and self-pace 10 courses in the first half. So that was literally like half my course load. And then through these next 2 years, I'm able to test out of actually 6 classes, which shouldn't be a problem. So if I wanted to, I could knock out the final 2 years of my bachelor's in as little as 9 months. Otherwise, it'll just take another 2 years. So I'll probably knock it out in a year and a half. So
right on, man.
Cool. Fun stuff. Anything else on your plate?
Oh, man, I'm just crossing my fingers that the next time we have a podcast, I have a Ghostbusters Pro in my possession. And let me talk about that real quick, because it's worth mentioning, I think. I don't know. Why not? The Ghostbusters, the thing I hate about Stern right now is they come out with 3 different levels of pinballs, right? And usually when you get the Pro, that's like the most basic, cheapest version of it. And a lot of times it looks like the cheapest version of it, you know? And then you got your premium, which is kind of the souped up version. That's like the designer, that's what they wanted, you know, that's to spec on what they had envisioned for the entire thing. And then you got the LE, the limited edition, that generally have some extra, just some extra this and that. Generally, I think it's about the same as the same price as the premium, but they're a limited amount. I think they're 250 to 500. You've got the designer's autograph, clear coated into the play field. You've got some things I don't know, lots of other kind of interesting design differences and so on. But let me go through this real quick, because the Ghostbusters Pro, which is the one that I'm going to get, and this is the consensus on this, I think at this point as well. I would love to get a premium, but it was the fact that okay, I could get a Ghostbusters premium, or I could get a Ghostbusters Pro and something else awesome the Roller Coaster Tycoon. So I wanted multiple games. I don't just want to sink it all into one. The Ghostbusters Pro is one of the most impressive pros that I from the consensus, I believe, is that it's one of the most impressive pros that Stern's ever released. It's kind of almost mind-boggling that it actually is a pro, that there's more to give in the premium version. So the Ghostbusters Pro, it has a couple spots that in the premium, instead of just being a flat plastic like the library or whatever, is like a 3D model. So there are a couple 3D models. There's an extra ramp in the premium. There is this ecto goggle thing, which is kind of like a hologram type thing, but it's just basically like an LCD that's kind of see-through, that has images of stuff on it. I'm not really 100%. I've never actually played it, but that's what they say, at least the word on the street. So those are kind of your differences there, and the difference price-wise is about $1,500 to $2,000. So the Pro has everything I need on it, and as soon as they come out with a color DMD, I can get rid of that shitty, ugly red DMD that they have in it, and it will be absolutely amazing. But the LE version actually had green powder coating on all the hardware, which is actually really, in my opinion, is really ugly. And then instead of having the crappy red DMD, they had a green DMD, which actually is semi-cool. And it has all the options that the premium had. So hopefully by next time that we talk, or within the next couple weeks here, because that's when they're expecting them to get them in, I will have a Ghostbusters Pro in my house, and I will be rocking on that thing probably the entire week, every spare second that I have.
Right on. I got another cool update for you.
Go ahead.
And we'll have to give hashtag Vagina a shout out at the beginning of next week's episode. So he took a picture of a Q*bert board game that he found at Half Price Books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I retweeted that. Anyway, he messaged me, and I didn't see it until just today. He messaged me yesterday. I saw it today. He wanted to send one of us. He bought it and wanted to send one of us a Q*bert board game. And I said,
what?
Yeah. And I said, hey, man, I definitely don't want to take something like that off your hands. It's a pretty cool find at Half Price Books. And he's like, oh, you could use it for a giveaway or something like that. And I just let him know. I was like, well, no, I mean, we'll take it. I said, Mitch had a Q*bert. He's a Q*bert guy. And I said, so
I'm a big Q*bert fan.
Yeah, a big Q*bert fan. So he picked up that board game Q*bert at Half Price Books as a gift to the show. So
dude, that guy's awesome.
So thank you, Chad, since we continue to call you hashtag Vagina, which is still the greatest Twitter of all time. Yeah,
I kind of like that.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to shoot him your address if that's okay, and he will send you that Q*bert.
I'm super excited about it. Of course that's okay. Absolutely. Dude.
Yeah, and
you just made my day.
And also, we do make fun of Wisconsin. I think Chad's from Wisconsin, so there's another third thing cool in Wisconsin, and we are just kind of giving you shit because we're from Minnesota. So we're
Vikings fans.
That's how we roll. It goes for anyone that's not in Minnesota or Wisconsin. That's how this Midwest razzing goes.
Of course, yeah. But let me leave you with it. Well, no, I don't even want to do that. Chad is doing something super awesome, and I was going to make a Wisconsin joke, but I could turn it around and make a Minnesota joke, but I'm not going to do that either. So thank you. You totally made my day, man. That perked me right up. I'm like, oh my God, that's freaking amazing. Yes. I can't wait.
Yeah, so I will send that his way. I just checked the messages on Twitter, and he's like, because I told him. And then he was just like, I just don't want to take something like that off your hands if it was kind of this cool find. And he was like, no, I picked it up for you guys to have. And I was like, well, fucking A, thank you. That is the coolest thing any listener has done for the show so far. So I think we totally appreciate that.
Totally appreciate that, and I have to think of some way to reciprocate. So I don't know.
If he needs a copy of Console Wars, I could send that his way as a thank you. So
I'll have to think on that.
So we could think. So we'll be back in touch. Hashtag, and we'll find something we can send your way or return the favor, because that's a pretty cool gift. So thank you,
dude. That's amazing. Absolutely. Cool. Well, I don't have anything else today. I'm not sure if there's anything else you wanted to add into that.
No, I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and close this out. So for RetroGameFix.com, the Retro Jones podcast number 85. This is Mitch.
This is Mike.
And we'll catch you next time.
See ya.